brick breaking game.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's and you can like, and so you're gonna have to protect yourself from the ball and lasers. Like, the pilot can deflect lasers too.
Very cool. Yeah, that sounds cool. What's your name? Where are you from, by the way?
My name is Zachary, and I'm from Virginia of the U.S.
Awesome. Awesome. So, okay, I am just going to get a couple of things sorted, get the chat on the screen, and then we'll be good to go. So hello people on YouTube. We should be able to chat. And what I'm going to do is ask for all of the chat comments to be on the YouTube channel if possible. If somebody could pop in #lounge in Discord, the URL of the YouTube event, that would be great. For some reason, I don't know why, but I can't see #lounge on our channel, on our server at all at the moment. It's a bit weird. Oh, there it is, #lounge, great. So somebody already has posted that. Thank you very much for that. So all questions over there, please, because it's going to be a bit stressful otherwise. And I'll get the chat up, the YouTube chat. There's my video stream here. So hello, everybody. And the first half an hour, this is going to be focused on the Web Apps Kickstarter, tying that up, asking any questions about that. And then the second half of it, we're going to get Gavin, Tesla Dev, in to be talking about Unreal Engine and Blueprint and stuff like that. So he's in the other room having some dinner at the moment. So I need to know that Discord's working. So Discord, you can hear me fine, right?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly fine.
Wicked. And then on YouTube, can the people who are watching and listening on YouTube, can they hear me okay and see me okay? So if you can, the magic word today is platter, as in hard drive platter. There is a destroyed metal hard drive platter. If you can hear and see me okay on YouTube, just say platter on the YouTube chat, and then I will A, be able to assess the delay, and B, know that you can hear me. And then we will be ready to go. Yes, we can hear you. Hey, Liz, good to see you. Hey, Colin, good to see you. Hey, Paco, great to see you. It's all coming through. I was going to try and do something really clever. I was going to try and have on this new teleprompter thing that I wish I could show you somehow. I probably can in a minute using my phone. I've got this cool new teleprompter set up. I wish I could get the YouTube chat on there, but it has to be mirrored or it won't work. Let me see if I can give you a quick video of it. It's this thing here. It's going to be difficult to see, but if you look at, oh, that's going to be impossible to see unless I focus it. Maybe I can focus it on there. Can I focus that? Yeah, just about. So let's try this. So if you see to the right of my monitor, oh, come on, dude, focus. Wants my face. No, it's not focusing. Ah, there you go. So the right on my monitor, you see all that weird stuff. What you're looking at there is a piece of 45-degree slanted glass. And then under the glass there's an Android phone here, and it's got some notes on it, which means I can look straight at the camera and read off a teleprompter, a bit like, I think like Designated Survivor or something, when Kiefer Sutherland's constantly reading off teleprompters as the president of the USA. So that's a bit of fun, but it's only got 3 very simple notes on it right now. I was hoping to get the YouTube chat up, but everything has to be inverted, and I can't quite work out how to make the phone's mirror, the phone's chat invert. Anyway, cool. Let's start off then with questions about the Web Apps Kickstarter. This is the first Kickstarter we've had that we've chosen to cancel. The basic reason is quite simple. We had a lot of hopes for web. I felt that the team, the game dev team, were ready to hold on to game dev, look after game dev while I went and explored web. But we thought that it would blast through that 10,000, very arrogantly thought that it would blast through that 10,000 target with a real momentum, and then carry on to the stretch goals that it needed to get to be exciting, because everybody wants React and Node and all these advanced web technologies. But what actually happened when you saw the graph is it kind of just about hit 10,000 and then went completely flat immediately. And that meant we were never going to get to the exciting stuff, which meant the whole thing basically isn't worth doing. I'm actually delighted because it means I can really focus back on you guys on what I love the most at the moment, which is web dev. So yeah, that's it. That's the basic reason. I'm very happy to take questions, but they all need to be in the YouTube chat so that I don't have to divide my attention into too many different places. So that's that. So jump into the YouTube chat, say hello. That would be cool. If you have any trouble with the YouTube chat, then I will just keep the Discord #lounge open in case there's like any fires we need to put out. But we'll see. There it is. So I'll be in #lounge on Discord as well. But obviously it has splits my attention a lot to look down there. You can see my screen clearly, I hope. Is the font big enough in the YouTube chat that you guys can read it? I'll just up it a couple of sizes just in case.
Yeah, I can see it fine.
Cool. Okay, so who else have we got here in the Discord live chat this evening, and where in the world are you guys from?
California.
Hey Jenny, how you doing? Good to hear from you and see you. Oh, grab a mirror. Yeah, that was a good idea. So I'm seeing Arawan saying grab a mirror. Yeah, that would have been easier than taking a photo. Absolutely. Just don't have a mirror to hand. So what are you working on, guys? What are you working on? I don't mind talking about non-web app stuff in the first half hour. That's fine as well. If there's no web app questions, then that's not a problem. So Liz, if we needed a lot more than 10K, why didn't you set the target to what we needed? Good question, Liz. So we started with, as the Kickstarters went through from the Unity to the Blender to the Unreal to the RPG, we continually increased the amount we were asking for, and then to Godot. And I had in my head how we should always increase the amount every time because we're kind of growing. And then before the web apps one, I thought, hang on, when I first started a new business, Unity, I started with a very low target of only 4,000. And I just felt that we were setting our targets too high. So we just discussed it. It's a mistake, basically. We discussed it internally. We felt that 10,000 would be a good starting point. It would be enough for us to teach you simple front-end development, but that would mean that I would be spending the next several months doing that rather than focusing on making sure that all our game dev stuff is going well, and then we would never get to the exciting stuff. So it was just a strategic error, probably. It would maybe have been better to just set the goal higher in the first place, but anyway. I apologize for the confusion with it. It was very unlucky that it went up and then stopped at exactly 10,000. You know, it would have been much better if it had stopped earlier. We actually decided to pull the plug before it hit 10,000, but it took several days to get all the videos together and organize everything we needed to organize to kind of dismantle the Kickstarter. So just a mistake, and I apologize if it caused anybody any trouble. So if anybody wants to know about the free course, we said anybody who backed the course, there's a couple of options for you. If you're at the lifetime member level, then we've actually given you an option to buy lifetime membership anyway, so that's already in place. If you're below that and you want a free course, we said we'll give you a free course just for your hassle. You know, you backed the Kickstarter and then we pulled out. Then any course, past course or future course, excuse me, that comes out in the next year from when the Kickstarter ended, so in the next like 363 days or something like that. Just email Lucy at GameDev.tv asking for your free course. That's going to be the way to do it. I hope that doesn't cause her too much admin. Or just hang on a couple of days and wait till Lucy catches up with the backlog and she'll tell you the best way to do it. But I suspect she'll just say email or use a Kickstarter message. Hey Matitius, how are you doing? Is there a drastic change between two? Mohammed says, so let me try and filter out questions that are about web app stuff for the beginning of this, and then I will take questions that are on other things. So the voice lounge is looking a bit quiet. Looks like there's only a handful of people here. We normally get a few more. Fair enough, don't mind losing popularity. No, not at all. So I'll answer questions. Any other questions on the web stuff? Taking preference for voice lounge questions over text questions.
I have a question.
Cool. What's your question?
Okay. My question is, so I wasn't really there. I wasn't there during the Kickstarter, so I'm not really sure what you were trying to do with Kickstarter. What was it all about?
So we were looking at teaching web app development. So web development. It was pure web development, but we took the angle of web apps because it's more related to games. So this is the idea of how do you get a game onto mobile, but without using the app stores. And that is just about possible these days. Not easy to do with Unity, Blender, Unity, Godot, or Unreal, because those engines don't have good mobile web builds at the moment. But if you write a pure JavaScript game, then you can get it onto mobile using something called a progressive web app wrapper. So I was looking at exploring that whole thing to answer the question, how do you make a hyper-casual game, get it out to Android and iOS really quickly without needing to go through all the hassles of App Store and learning Xcode or Android Studio? So that's what we were trying to do, but it was quite a complicated proposition to sell, and it kind of fell a little bit flat. So that's where we're going there. Hopefully does that make sense?
Yeah, that clears up a lot.
What these things are, these progressive web apps, is just a website. And when you do certain things to a website these days, like you serve it up securely on HTTPS, you put in something called a web apps manifest, which is a JSON file, and you do a handful of other things. What happens is on Android, when you visit that site, try it now, go to mobile.twitter.com, for example, mobile.twitter.com. And on Android, it'll pop up at the bottom of your screen and say, do you want to add this to your home screen? Even though it's a website, it can go straight to your home screen. You can also add it to your home screen on iOS by sharing it in Safari to the home screen. And this means you've gone straight from just writing a website to having something that looks and feels just like an app on someone's phone. So I think I'm really excited about it. The challenge with it is, and so are Google really excited about it, which is why they were backing us and behind us. The challenge is quite complicated to explain. And then the other mistake we made from a marketing point of view is, you're supposed to sell people what they want and then give them what they need. What people want is React, Node.js, all the advanced web technologies, which are going to take like 20, 30 hours of beginner content to even get to. So we probably should have sold that. Hey, this is a complete web development course. And I have two problems with that. Number one is it's a big commitment. It would need to have a massive goal. And number two, it's not related to game development particularly strongly. So we took a progressive web apps angle, but it's difficult for people to see through that without a lot of explanation to understand, that's a great way into web development, but you need to start there and then work your way to all that big stuff that everybody wants to learn. So it's just too complicated. Always try and get your proposition in 5 words, and I didn't obey my own rules there. I think I boiled it down to learn to make web apps, but the problem is people don't know what web apps are. So web apps needed to be explained, and the proposition was a bit complicated. So that's that. Any other progressive web app related questions? I'm happy to spend like 15 more minutes talking about that element, and then we'll bring Gavin, Tesla Dev in. Who of you, by the way, have seen Gavin's work on YouTube? Gavin or Tesla Dev talking about Unreal, predominantly Blueprint. Great guy.
Well, I haven't actually explored Unreal Engine content on YouTube. I've mainly stuck to Unity, so I'm not really sure what kind of stuff he does on the channel.
Yeah, well, he does Unreal Blueprint stuff and does it very well. We've got an Unreal Blueprint course coming up, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to meet Gavin. That will be good. So let's scroll down. Where have we got? So Liz, welcome to hop on in voice, Liz. I'd love to chat with you in person. You've been awesome. Do hop on the voice lounge in Discord if you feel like it. It'd be great to chat with you. I would like to make sure that question is fully answered. So, for web apps, will it be something that will come up in the future? Look, probably, Owen, but what I want to do now is that I felt during this very stressful having to cancel this Kickstarter, and I felt during this, it's really actually a good thing that I can focus on making GameDev.tv all it can be, right? And it's not all it can be at the moment. It's great, but there's so much more we can do. There's other courses. We need to cover Unity multiplayer. We need to cover mobile. We need to cover a bunch of more advanced stuff like shaders and things like that. We also need to give you other ways of learning, so like learning pods, ways of getting into groups and working together, help you collaborate better, do game jams. I'm not promising we're doing all these things. I'm just saying these are the ideas we've got. We're overflowing with ideas. We'd like to give you another way to consume content, not just Udemy, for those of you who have trouble with Udemy streaming. Loads of things. And I've now got the energy and the time to deal with that, which is awesome. So will web apps come up in the future? Yes, but I don't think it'll be under the GameDev.tv brand. The plan is let's get GameDev.tv just really right so that it doesn't need me involved in it day to day. It could take a few more years to get it to that point. When it's completely awesome and I'm really proud of it, I might take that model and say, let's make like WebDev.tv as a project name. So I think it wouldn't be under the same brand. I think it confuses the GameDev brand. Game and web are quite opposite ends at the moment of the spectrum, although I think we'll see a lot more web games moving forward. So Colin said, how do you get your free course if you're a Kickstarter backer? As I said, just wait for Lucy to let you know in the next, if you can give her 2 or 3 days. If you don't hear in that time, just email Lucy at GameDev.tv. But it'd be great if you give her a couple of days to tell you the best way. Is there a drastic change from Mohammed between 2D and 3D game development? Not in Unity. A little bit more in Godot. It has completely separate, which is a great advantage of Godot, but it has completely separate 2D and 3D pipelines. Yes, quite different in Unreal, I would say, but the basic principles are there between them. In Unity, it's always a 3D. You're in the same engine doing roughly the same things. Some different principles. We have 2 different beginner courses, as you know, to cover that. Hello, Matitius. Thank you for saying hello. Oh, where am I in this scroll here? Can you tell us what future courses might be? Mass upload. I just reeled a bunch off just then. So, well, a bunch of initiatives off just then. Things like shaders, things like Unreal Blueprint, things like Unity multiplayer, things like mobile deployment, possibly some JavaScript casual web game stuff, but just purely focused on the games. There you go. So I think that answers hopefully Jenny's question as well. Does it, Jenny? Let me know if it does in the chat. That would be great. I think Liz's question, will we revisit PWA option later? Yes, but I'm not sure exactly when. Whether it will be under the GameDev initiative and brand, it depends how we get on with casual JavaScript games and how much of a hassle that is. The problem, if you go away from a game engine and start to make games, you very quickly feel like you want to be back in a game engine because all the common things you need to do to make a game are already solved by the game engine. And there's not a good game engine right now that deploys to fast mobile builds, at least not that I know of, that a common, well-supported engine. Unity's web player doesn't work well on mobile. So hopefully that answers Jenny's question. Yeah, Paco. For a next try, would we start at front or back end, Paco? Look, I don't know. You suggest. I think the learning journey for web goes like this. I think that you should learn front end first, JavaScript, get your device thing working properly first, then learn server. So we were going to go client focused, then server heavy, and then we were going to teach the hybrid balance between the two. So I think in the absence of any new information, I'd be going for front end first. Am I a fan of Diablo Immortal? Not played it. I like Diablo. I haven't played Diablo Immortal, so I probably would be if I played it, given that I like the other Diablos. Stefan,
okay, so
my email, so this is the email to the Kickstarter backers. I suggested Colt Steel. Why Colt Steel? Because he's very good. Well, I mean, he's got one of the biggest web courses with great reviews, and I've heard good things. It's not a project-based syllabus the same as ours. It's an academic syllabus, but it was just the top of my suggestion list, really. I just wanted to make sure that if you had gone to the Kickstarter because you wanted to learn web, you had somewhere to go. So when is the new content coming for the Unity 3D course? I'm not sure which new content you mean. You probably mean Zombie Runner, which is the 3D game to replace the version of it in the last course. Because we took Zombie Runner out of what used to be the original Unity course. We turned the original Unity course into a 2D focused course, which leaves you without Zombie Runner. It's still there. You can still access it for life. I'm not sure whether it's in the course or in the graveyard right now, but it's available. But we're going to rework that Zombie Runner, and that'll be probably first thing in the new year. Rick is going to get, what's he working on at the moment? Glitch Garden's a big project. That's going to take him most of the rest of the year to finish Glitch Garden. Zombie Runner will probably start shipping first thing in the new year. Could be a little bit sooner than that. So Mass Upload saying Colt Steel has some good courses. Cool. Jenny, why not focus on web dev so people make their own pages to focus on showcase off the work? Yes, absolutely. So selling your games is a huge part of what you guys need to be doing. But I would suggest, Jenny, at the moment, rather than getting, like, you could spend months using learning web dev as a reason to, well, I could use it as a procrastination strategy. But if you want to sell games, I would suggest there's plenty of platforms you could already sell them on. You may not even need your own dedicated website, possibly. So itch.io, you've got obviously Steam is a platform to sell your game on.
And GameDev.
All these other platforms. So I wouldn't say you necessarily need to make your own website. And if you do, why not use Squarespace or Weebly or one of the other website creators to create something simple.
Also, another website where you can post your own games and stuff is GameJolt.
Yes, GameJolt, exactly. Awesome. Exactly. So if you put up a website and don't put a huge amount of effort into driving traffic to it, it's just going to sit there. However beautiful it is, it will be this little island in the middle of the ocean. You want to go to a platform. So my suggestion is don't basically build your own website for the purposes of showcasing your games from scratch. That wasn't the idea of web dev. The idea of web dev is to teach you that awesome skill for all of the job prospects it has and everything else. But it's a bit tangential to game development, which is probably why it's a bit confusing, because you guys supported us really well, but the public didn't understand it. So anyway, it is what it is. We've done a post-mortem. We think we understand what the issues were next time. So can you use AWS tools for a server? Yes, there are Amazon tools available. Amazon have a good back-end system, and there are plenty of other tools. You know, one of the best tools if you're using Unity is just wait for the new Google partnership with Unity to really mature, and that's going to give you some really good multiplayer server options there. You should also be looking at things like Photon, which is a dedicated third-party platform. Arrowan says more Unreal. We will be making more Unreal courses. Again, Gavin will be in about 10 minutes. He's making a dedicated Unreal Blueprints beginner course. Unreal Blueprint is awesome now. It compiles down to non-readable, but compiles down to C++. And it's fast, really fast now, so it's awesome. Jenny's got a sore throat. Sorry, Jenny, to hear that. Otherwise, you'd be on. Any other voice questions in the voice lounge before I rabbit on any longer?
Well, yes.
Oh, two at once. So whoever, of the two of you, whoever hasn't yet asked a question, go ahead.
Me.
Hello, me. Where are you from?
California.
Cool. I hope you're not breathing in too much smoke.
Yeah, it's pretty bad here.
No sugar. So
Okay,
how can I help?
my question
I can't
is,
do anything about the smoke, I'm afraid. But
the difference between 2D and 3D game development, is it really big, or is it just mediocre and it's really easy to get?
which engine are you? Is there a particular engine you're using at the moment?
Unity.
Yeah, it's not really, to be honest. We always used to start teaching in 2D, but really you're using the same set of tools. It's inherently, should be inherently simpler to work in 2D, but in Unity it's not really, because you're in 2D trying to ignore the fact you're in 3D. So no, I wouldn't worry. I would pick it based on like what type of game do you see yourself making first. So don't stress over it too much.
Okay, thanks.
So could you adjust my mic game? It's coming through too loud. Okay, I can probably do that. Thank you, Jenny. So I'm like clipping or something, am I? So let's just turn maybe my input volume down to something like 80%. Okay, so how's that, guys, who are in the voice lounge? Does that sound better? A little bit less kind of clippy?
Yeah.
Wicked. So shaders, we've got
about
people
me?
lined up to talk about shaders. That cool. AI, I'm very interested in AI. You know what we nearly did a Kickstarter on was reinforcement learning, which is this really cool stuff that Google DeepMind are doing, you know, when they have these little AI agents learning inside games, because that's relevant to games as well. So that would probably be now above the list over web, but a little bit behind. Let's just make the rest of the game dev stuff we need to make, like shaders, for example. But yes, we will get to AI. How keen are you guys on AI, on specifically reinforcement learning, agents learning in a game environment to do things like run or walk or drive or fly or solve puzzles or whatever? How excited are you about that? Let us know in the YouTube chat.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Yeah, I think it would be really cool. So, all right, well, it's up our list. We're not quite there. So we will cover multiplayer games. Yeah, the thing is, Cruz, as you say, it is a paid feature. You generally can't put out a multiplayer game of any scale without paying for something. But at some point, you guys are going to have to start paying for something. Unfortunately, that's one of the natures of multiplayer, which is one of the reasons we've delayed it. Same with mobile. Mobile on Android is pretty much free to develop, but both of them have like fees you have to pay and machinery you have to have. Like if you want to develop for iOS, you need a Mac, or you should have a Mac at least. And yeah, so we really want to make sure that the base of beginner content we have is getting a higher proportion of you guys to actually earn money from making your games. From making some games you get out there on simple platforms like Steam and Itch.io and stuff like that, in formats like PC and Mac, and that you're actually earning some money from those simple games, and then you can afford to and have the confidence to spend on things like multiplayer. So it's another game engine like Unity, Godot, Unreal. How about Lua tools like Love2D, Corona, Defold? Hey, I haven't tried any of those. Lua's a cool language. Lumberyard's one we're looking at very seriously. Amazon Lumberyard, which is a fork of CryEngine. I don't think it's quite ready yet, but it's really coming because it's an awesome engine. So keeping an eye on that. Any more Unity courses? You'd love several 20-hour courses dedicated to a certain project, puzzle game, etc. Yeah, there's going to have to be more Unity courses, shaders, multiplayer, mobile. You're asking for turn-based strategy. You're also thinking about doing a maths course, you know, a maths for games programmers. What do you guys think of that?
Wait, is it a mapping course?
No, a maths or math course. Math for game development.
Awesome.
Yeah, just those of you who didn't like math at school, well, I'm going to say math just to be all American. We want to cover that.
You'd say mathematics.
Yeah, I could say mathematics. It's a bit long though, isn't it?
Physics.
Yeah, maths and physics. So Liz is saying, in the original Brick Breaker bit, there was a utilities you guys recommended to draw bricks. I've looked through now and you supply all the bricks, but I can't remember what it was. I think, was it GIMP? In the original Unity 2D course. Well, one option for you is GIMP. The other we found the other day is Krita. I think it's, Krita, K-R-I-T-A, is another free 2D art package, Krita, K-R-I-T-A. I'm totally in love with Pixelmator Pro, but it's in the Mac master race, unfortunately. You can only use it on the Mac. It's been a big bone of contention inside GameDev.tv. Like, I've seen the light, I've used Pixelmator Pro, and I just won't use anything else. And we're trying to find something we can all, like, collaborate on, and we can't find anything. But yeah, I would say GIMP or...
Are you talking about pixel art?
Krita. No, Pixelmator Pro, I've not really tried for pixel art. It's more for just general photo and image manipulation. Have you got a pixel art suggestion?
Yeah, it's called Asprite, spelled Aseprite. It's like a $15 program on Steam. It's called, and so it's designed specifically for pixel art, and I love it.
Awesome. Maybe pop that in the YouTube chat,
Okay.
if you don't mind. If that's all right. Not giving you a job, but the more I stare there at this screen, the less I can look over you guys in my strange-looking mirror. I'm not really used to looking at a mirror. I used to look at a camera. There's a camera behind the mirror. So, Mac, what about the Godot C# conversion? The line on that, Mac, is we're waiting for Godot 3.1. I tried hard to teach you guys the Godot C# conversion. And you know what kept happening? The Godot APIs just kept changing under my feet, and that is just impossible. It's impossible to write a course when the APIs change between videos. I updated Godot, and it's like, oh, that stuff doesn't work anymore. And the whole approach I was taking wasn't working anymore. It's something to do with the way dictionaries were indexed in Godot. So got to wait to 3.1 to be stable, but we'll get to it. Yeah, exactly. Matitius, what I'm saying about websites and games, I mean, don't get me wrong, websites are awesome. Web tech is awesome. And it brings us what? It brings us all of what we're doing now, right? Discord is built on web tech. YouTube is all built on web tech. It's awesome. But from a games point of view, yeah, focus on, but the extra effort rather than learning web stuff for the sake of creating a sales page into making games. Where you will want to consider web for games is making a hyper-casual, simple game that can be inherently multiplayer. So you can be on your phone playing a really simple game, and somebody next to you can go, hey, what's that game? And you can go, oh, you can join me just by scanning a QR code. They don't even have to download it. They could be in your game session in seconds. That would be cool. That's where I think we should focus our efforts with regards to games, not necessarily in creating websites completely bespoke from scratch.
And one thing I've been meaning to say is, or ask rather, is so with the web apps Kickstarter, the reason it failed is because it couldn't get across the idea of what web apps are.
I think so. I mean, we never know why it failed. I think.
Well, I have a suggestion for future Kickstarters.
Yeah, please.
Why not give examples of web apps?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. We tried. Maybe not prominently enough. Mobile.twitter.com is one of the good examples. App.ft.com is another good example. Paper Planes is a good example.
What about Tinkercad?
What's that?
Tinkercad. It's a 3D modeling software on the internet. It's in browser.
Yeah, of course, desktop web apps as well. Yeah, absolutely. I was using 3D Hub the other day. I needed to 3D print a widget, and I don't have a 3D printer. I don't want a 3D printer because 3D Hubs lets me rent somebody else's effectively, and they print it and clean it up and send it over. And the 3D Hubs web app is amazing. You upload a 3D model, and it analyzes it and gives you all these tools. It's really feature rich, so you can do a huge amount with web apps, especially on desktop. Yeah, and it worked on the iPad as well, which I was really impressed with.
And Tinkercad.
Sorry, go ahead.
And Tinkercad, I don't know if 3D Hub is linked to Tinkercad, but Tinkercad does have an output thing where it sends you to different websites. It's to get this stuff 3D printed for you, exactly. Depending on your choice.
Yeah. So I just use 3D Hub, but there's lots of them like that, and it's effectively an agent. So people that have the right machines, can come and print for you, which is really cool, because one of the things I printed was on a machine that cost hundreds of thousands because I wanted it done in a particular material. You can do brass and aluminium and metal and very, very fine tolerances, and it doesn't cost much because these people just churn, so it's really cool. Okay, so have any plans for game design fundamentals? If you want fundamental game design, here comes Gavin, Tesla Dev, to join us. Welcome. Get you a mic, and you can join in a sec and answer questions about Blueprint. Oh, you've got a mic, haven't you? It's on you. Yeah, we mic'd you up earlier. So do we have anything for game design fundamentals? All of our courses have game design fundamentals in them to one extent or another. Come forward, Gavin. Particularly the courses that have Rick in are strong on that. And also, if you look at Jan and Rick's board game developer course, that is pure game design fundamentals. So that's a good place to look there. Okay, let's introduce Gavin. Gavin, how are you doing?
Hello world, I'm good.
Where do they find you on YouTube, Gavin?
Under Tesla UE4 is my channel.
So Tesla UE4 like that?
That's the one, yeah.
Cool. So check out Gavin over there. He's currently making a Unreal Blueprint course for us.
Yes, it's coming on well. It's still in its early days at the moment. We've just got section 1 done. We're working hard towards section 2. Yeah, it's just a complete introductions to blueprints with Unreal Engine 4.
They're over here, by the way, in the mirror.
Oh, yes. I'm so used to looking at this.
Yeah, it's weird,
it's all
isn't
new. It? Yeah. So if you've never touched Unreal, or if you found C++ too difficult to get into, like Blueprints would be the perfect place to start with getting and making games with Unreal. It's very, very powerful.
Well, it's proper coding these days. It's just using a visual engine. They're the first people to really get visual scripting right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's full speed now, given that it's all compiled to C++. So.
Yep.
Cool. All right, just going to slam through a few more of these questions, and we'll go from there. So, music and SFX, yeah, a little bit down our list, Azrael, but we're definitely interested. We'd be up against the established Penny AI course. Yes, that's true, Liz. I'm confident we can do well, though. Don't worry about that. For Android, theoretically, you could escape playing the blah, blah. Yeah, it's not really a question. I've been designing and working on a 2D platformer in Unreal for a while now. Do you have any tips for 2D development in Unreal? Well, I'll throw that over to Gavin. Gavin, do you have any tips for 2D development in Unreal?
I haven't done much 2D development in Unreal. Obviously, they've got Paper 2D. I believe it's a plugin now. It's not an actual complete solution yet. There's still, I think they're still missing features for it, but it's absolutely workable to make games with 2D development. But I haven't had that much experience with it. I've got a couple of tutorials on my YouTube channel for it that I've done, but I haven't touched it for a while just yet.
Cool. Yeah, it's just not first that comes to mind, Unreal, as the engine for 2D, but it's very capable at doing it. It's just most people reach for it for the 3D games.
People have been making some very smart games with 2D crossed with 3D and Unreal as well.
Yeah, so the hybrid is cool.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah. Hyper-casual games are the most successful games. I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying that making very simple games is a good place to start and focusing on getting them out there and all the other stuff you guys need to learn, which is how to market your games, how to patch your games, how to respond to community feedback, how to build a community, and so on and so on and so on. People love maths, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so looking for any other questions. Whoa, that jumped. So... I'm not seeing.
Hey,
you seeing any?
See a Gavin mic not on down there, just further down.
Oh, really? Is it not on? Should be. Just say something.
Check, 1, 2.
And again?
Hello.
No, it looks like it isn't. 1 sec. That's very strange. What's wrong with that mic? Thank you for telling us. Right. Say something else.
Check, 1, 2. Hello.
And again?
Hello.
I can hear him.
Yeah, okay, well, if you can hear him. My little bouncy sound meter's not bouncing, but anyway, we'll go with that. If you can hear him. Any other questions in the voice lounge before I keep going through the YouTube chat?
Yes. Would you consider doing courses on GameMaker Studio?
We have a course on, well, actually, Benjamin Anderson has just withdrawn the course on the GameMaker Studio from the marketplace.